Live from the Bed-Stuy, the livest one. We we are back, man, for a brand new episode of First Team All Purpose, and we got a lot to talk about. Live from the Bed-Stuy, the
Stop
livest
capping,
one.
man. That man is in Connecticut in the
I'm definitely in
bird.
Connecticut right now. You're in New York City, but while we're there, man, let's get it started with your team, your Brooklyn Nets, and the firing or the agreement to go their separate ways with Steve Nash.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, and I know you're gonna keep it a buck, do you think Steve Nash was made the fall guy, or was this validating firing of the head coach?
Both. Both. Part A, was he made the scapegoat? He was, because, in the 2 seasons that he was the head coach, did he really get a fair shot in having a complete team? KD missed a lot of games. Kyrie was in and out of the lineup. He didn't want to take the vaccine, so he missed what? It was 40 plus games. So Steve Nash never had a full lineup or a consistent lineup. They threw out some crazy stats stating that I think he had 68 different lineups in his 2 year as an NBA coach. And we all know you can't have any continuity if your starters or if your players are always missing time. With that being said, coming into the season, he knew that he had to start off pretty good, bro. Like, they got swept by Boston in the playoffs last year. And, you start off the season, 1-5 or 2-6. That's not going to cut it. You came into the season knowing that it was critical for you guys to start early and be successful the first few games, and you didn't start successful. So who else is gonna get their head on the chopping board? It's gonna be Steve Nash. But I saw a brilliant tweet earlier today. It was just like, yo, if a team hires a coach who's inexperienced, that's actually like the ownership's fault. Steve Nash wants to be a coach, and he, I guess, applied for the job. He got the job, but that's ownership. And I strongly believe that when you have a team full of veteran players and egos, you should never hire a first-time coach that's never coached before. Tell me where they do that at.
Yeah, the Steve Nash hiring shocked everybody because, again, he wasn't even an assistant. This guy was a consultant for the Golden State Warriors.
Come on, man.
Literally, like, out of the actual, not even near the actual bench. He was just literally like just consulting guys about certain things from an office somewhere. But yeah, Steve Nash, I don't think he was the best coach. I don't think he was a qualified coach. I think now what the narrative is a lot of these teams are trying to go with former players. With Jason Kidd, getting a job initially in Brooklyn, with now Darvin Ham with the Los Angeles Lakers. Steve Kerr had a lot of success with the Golden State Warriors after passing up the Knicks job. I think that seemed like to be the trend of where they were going.
Which is cool, but Steve Kerr is the only one that's been successful. Okay, you take Jordan, he got Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson was on the bench. He was an assistant coach, right? Kobe and Shaq needed Phil Jackson for them to win. Even Giannis, his coach, what's his name, Buck or whatever. He's from San Antonio. Ime, who went to the finals, was from the Nets and San Antonio.
San Antonio initially,
right?
Yeah.
Steve Kerr is probably literally the only guy who walked into a head coaching job with no coaching experience and to be successful right off rip. It doesn't happen. It does not happen. So to take Steve Nash, and Amari Stoudemire went on some show today and was like, look, I worked as an assistant coach last year, and in the time that I was there, he doesn't have any offensive and defensive philosophy, and the players were fed up.
Which is crazy because he's one of the all-time great offensive, players or point guards specifically ever. How does he not and does he not have a staff of people who are there to help design?
Give me a coach that was a superstar athlete give me a coach who was a former superstar athlete that just became a great coach. Phil Jackson wasn't a superstar.
In the NBA, you're speaking.
In the NBA, Rick Carlisle, he wasn't a superstar player. I didn't even know Pat Riley played for the Lakers.
Until the documentary.
I didn't even know he played until I seen a picture of Pat Riley.
Yeah.
Also, just because you are a former All-Star MVP doesn't translate well to you being a head coach. But he's the scapegoat, and rightfully so. But the Nets definitely could have and should have handled it a little bit better.
Yeah, it's just weird. I tweeted that. I think it's very weird that KD gave like this ultimatum over the summer, like fire Nash or trade me. They're like, no, KD, screw you. We're not trading. We're not firing Nash, and we're not trading you. You're gonna have to come back and run it back. And then like 6 or 7 games into the season, after a home win, they fired Steve Nash. Charles Barkley has been on record saying, "Did you want to chime in here before we go to the next?"
No, I was gonna say, like, just watching the first 7 game of this young season, it's so glaringly obvious that Steve Nash isn't a good coach. Look how perplexed you were the other day when I tweeted that Cam Thomas.
I was gonna bring that up. What in the world?
Right? Mind you, this is a rookie who played pretty well last year when given the opportunity. Right? And we're sending guys who are 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". Cam Thomas is a legit 6'5", 6'6", and he's a wing and he's a defender. Why not give him burn? So these little things that you'll see that Ime is probably going to switch around if he gets the job, but these are the things that cost Steve Nash his job, bro.
Yeah, I think from what I've heard from major sports media, I'm talking about the likes of JJ Redick, the likes of Charles Barkley, and Shaq. They actually they don't think Steve Nash is a great coach, as neither of us do, but they think more of the blame should be on the stars of the team that are not able to make it work. I mean, these are 2 superstars. Kevin Durant is a bona fide superstar. Kyrie, you can say he's a superstar based on his accomplishments and, him having a title and him just being a freaking great player. How is this so bad in Brooklyn, bro? Like, I get it, offensive philosophies, defensive philosophies. These 2 guys off talent alone with a pretty good roster.
Going back to my original point, though, look at the history of the NBA. Jordan needed Phil Jackson. We didn't say, yo, Jordan, you're this hell of a player. You should win with any coach. Kobe and Shaq needed Phil Jackson. Tim Duncan and these guys were lucky to have Greg Popovich. LeBron needed a good coach in Miami, a steady coach in Eric Spoelstra. Like, you need good coaches. Like, it doesn't matter if you're an all-star MVP. At some point, coaching does matter.
I guess your guys are learning that now because they said they
I mean,
but they definitely. Do you think Ime Udoka is the right guy for this job? Like, all things considering.
Yes, because of one reason. I didn't watch this guy in Boston. He's not scared to tell you like how it is. I didn't see him get in Grant Williams' face and be like, yo, you're a bum. Stop doing that, bro. Like, he yells at Grant Williams every game, And what people don't realize, I mean, Boston started off slow last year.
Grant Williams ain't Kevin Durant, though.
Dude, they picked it up. I mean, do you see Ime's physique? He ain't no little dude, bro. Like, and I'm pretty sure
I'm talking about more ego.
Hands.
More ego. You think Kyrie? I mean, yeah,
look,
I get
he was on the Nets staff. Like, the players know him. I'm pretty sure that they respect him, and but yeah, he's like one of these guys who ain't scared to get in players' faces. Boston didn't start off the season well until he publicly called out these players in January.
Bad. They're actually very bad.
They were bad. And he was just like, yo, we're soft. We're not playing well. And if we're going to be a championship team, we have to play better. I don't care if you like how I'm saying it or not. And that changed their whole season around, and they made it to the finals. So I think he's the right man for the job.
And you're not worried about all the extra stuff. Like, you don't think it's just a terrible timing to have a coach who is on leave for sleeping with somebody's wife coming to a situation like Brooklyn? Like, could you imagine the questions that is going to be at on a nightly basis, whether it's Kyrie, KD, or even Ime?
I mean, Ime's had 2 months to process the type of questions that they're going to ask him, right? I hope he's ready. Yo. I hope he's ready, man.
Marcus Smart sounds pissed that Ime is going to be like, he was literally just not fired, but told to not be a part of the team for a year, and now he's going to their division rivals. Marcus Smart sounded real salty about that.
If you're willing to let him leave, like, why not bring him back?
Yeah. No, it makes, basketball-wise, it makes a ton of sense. I think everyone kind of wanted, they all thought Ime was going to be the coach in waiting when he was on the staff. Boston just had an opening when Brad Stevens moved up to the front office. So Boston was like, oh, we need that guy like ASAP. But Ime was supposed to be, that's who I think Kevin Durant wanted, from what I'm hearing, to be the Nets' next head coach. So KD might get what he wants, and now there will definitely be no finger pointing at coach or whatever. They got to get it done.
I think the Nets will make the playoffs, though. I don't think that they'll miss the playoffs.
Yeah,
I think they'll right the ship. Yeah.
Yeah, making the playoffs. I mean, that's not, if they don't win a couple rounds and get to like an Eastern Conference Finals at the very least, people won't be on their heels, especially the Knicks fans out there.
That ship sailed, man.
You don't think so? Really?
That ship sailed, bro.
Gene, it's the same team.
Too many distractions, bro.
Wow.
Too many.
They got time, though. They got time.
Okay, but then you're going up against a team like Boston who's gelling right now, right? You have Milwaukee who's playing lights out, phenomenal. They're gelling, right? 76ers, they at least play together. I mean, they're not winning as much as they should, but they still have somewhat of a team chemistry. Like, we don't have that yet, and we still
Cleveland looks scary.
Cleveland looks
It looked like scary. They might be here.
And they're getting another star player back tonight in Garland, right? So you're giving these teams all these opportunities or time to actually gel as a team and build up chemistry. And we're still figuring out, we'll still have a conversation about, is Ben Simmons healthy enough when he has to be the third best player on our team?
He's not good anymore, bro.
I mean, look, like Kyrie said, and when he said it, I had to agree. Like, look, if you miss a year and a half of basketball, bro, you need some time to get back into shape and to like get your basketball legs under you. So I'm giving him like 20 games. 20 games is enough for me to be like, all right, I know what's going on. You don't got it no more.
My thing is, it's not even about shape as much as I don't know what else he's going to bring. Like, he's offensively, it's a zero. It's a dub.
But we don't need that.
You don't? I mean,
no. I feel like we need defense. Like, we need Ben Simmons to guard the best player. We need rebounding. And Ben, get your points on the fast break. He was always a good fast break player. That's it. Get us
initiating it, though. He initiated a lot of the fast break. I don't know if you could do that with KD and Kyrie there.
You know what? I think it was 2 nights ago. I think it was against Milwaukee, maybe the Pacers. He had a steal, ran down the court, fed KD for the slam, and the game went to overtime. They ended up, I think, losing that game. But that's the Ben Simmons that we need. No, it was against Dallas, against Luka. He stole the ball from Luka, drove down all the way down to the court, found the open man. We went to overtime. If he can give us that confidence consistently, then we'll be fine, man.
Yeah, Brooklyn's going to be a team to watch for better or worse the remainder of this season. But I think things are going to be hot all year in Brooklyn. People are going to be talking about it all year. People are already saying they want to see what Kyrie going to do next. I saw Brian Windhorst said it's going to happen. He just don't know when it happens what Brooklyn's going to do about it. But I know before the season started, I asked you, would Kyrie be here next year? You said, yeah. I don't know if that's as a free agent. I would say as of right now, it would be very hard to imagine they give this guy $40 million a year. I don't see it right now, but that could change between now and
it's a slight possibility that if he keep on acting up,
they'll trade him.
He might not have an NBA career. No, he might not have an NBA career.
Wow.
Because his saving grace is that he plays for an organization that's scared of him.
Yeah, and they have Kevin Durant. It's like leverage too. Yeah.
Right? What happened when that's gone?
Yeah. Sheesh. Kyrie, you my guy, bro. Let's get right.
Come on, man. Play ball, man.
Just hoop. You're so good at it. Just hoop. Right? Not to say shut up and dribble. But try to stay out of something that's bringing the team more distractions than it is positivity, because all people are going to do is talk about the Nets in the news for negative things. All right. Our very own Janelle put out a video today talking about the NFL. There are 3 what looks like very good to great teams. Currently, the Eagles are still undefeated. I think they're 7-0. The Buffalo Bills are 6-1. I know they've won all their games but one to the Miami Dolphins. And who was the other team?
The Chiefs, right?
The Chiefs are at 5-1 because they had a bye this past weekend. And Janelle feels like the question in the ask was, is this a dominant NFL season by these 3 what look like dominant teams based on record? Or is it a parity as in the league is wide open this year for anybody to really step up and potentially make a run to the Super Bowl, kind of like Cincinnati did last year? What do you think? Is it a parity or is it more of a dominant and we kind of know what's going to happen at the end of the day?
I think you'd have to separate it from the AFC and the NFC. And the AFC is 2 dominant teams. The Bills or the Chiefs are going to be in the Super Bowl.
But are they dominant? I mean,
I mean, like, Bills to me are the best team because they're dominant on both sides of the ball.
Right.
Right. Like they added Von Miller, like who's old and he's still dominating. Right. The
Yeah.
Chiefs sometimes have question marks in terms of can they stop you when is necessary. And we saw that against the Bills when they couldn't, but any other team that they played, the Chiefs are cracking these dudes. Like they killed the 49ers like 2 weeks ago, So in the AFC, like, is these two teams that are going, one of those two teams are definitely going to be in the Super Bowl. If something crazy happens and you don't see the Chiefs or the Bills in bro, who else? I love my Ravens, but they got to get right.
I wasn't even thinking them. I think the team that could blow this all up, if everything falls into place as far as like health, I think Miami could make some noise, bro. They got Bradley Chubb to get. They got a dominant pass rusher at the deadline to throw into that. They got Jeff Wilson, the backup running back from the 49ers, who was starting in the absence of Elijah Mitchell. Like offensively, they're very hard to stop, and defensively, they just got one of the best players in the league. Again, a puncher's chance.
Can their O-line protect Tua?
I think that's all things considering. We're going to have to see that. They've done a pretty good job since he's been back. Although small sample size, 2 games. I think we're going to see, but you saw what they did to Buffalo. Buffalo had them up like 2 scores, 2.5, 3 scores, and they came back and Tua had 5 touchdowns that game.
That's facts, but like they're just battle tested though, man. The Chiefs and the Bills are just battle tested. The past 2-3 years, like Chiefs been in some wars, man. Real talk, and I always talk about their window of opportunity closing. There's no reason why the Chiefs shouldn't have won 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Yeah, well, the Bucs won. They had no offensive line, literally their entire lineup.
Right? Or hurt. 2 years before that against that Patriots, when D Ford
when they
offsides.
Tom Brady that
was literally their Super Bowl.
Yeah. They were going to clap the Rams. They were going to clap the Rams.
Dude, it was I would have just tuned in for the halftime performance, man. Yeah. The Rams scored 10 points at the Super Bowl against the Patriots?
I think so. That was the worst Super Bowl maybe in the last 10 years.
It was bad, man.
Even the Patriots didn't score anything. Like they really barely scored. It was a bunch of.
I think it was like 16-10 or
16-10.
And it went deep into the fourth quarter till Gronk made
the catch down the seam. Absolutely.
So there's no reason why the Chiefs shouldn't have 3 Super Bowls, but they're battle tested. But the bigger question, going back to your question, is what the NFC looks like. And the Eagles are undefeated.
I'm still not buying the Eagles as
they're not a scary undefeated team.
Scaring me, bro. Because a lot of their games could have gone either way. It's not like they're beating everybody down. A lot of their games, they could easily have 2 losses right now. If Jacksonville doesn't
against the Lions,
opening week
of the season,
right? Jacksonville,
and
even
Jacksonville
the Eagles,
was about 14.
The Cowboys almost had them with their backup quarterback. Again, props to the Eagles for being undefeated. But they're not a team I'm like, whoa, I don't want, I'm not thinking about them with the Bills or the Chiefs. I think
one thing I'll give Eagles credit for, though, it seems like to me, they're getting better every week. Like Jalen Hurts looks like he's getting better every single week.
I'm big on Jalen Hurts. I know you're big on Jalen Hurts. I like Jalen Hurts a lot. But kind of like you tweeted, we got to see them do it against really, really good competition. We haven't seen their marquee game. The Bills, they went into Kansas City. They beat the Chiefs at home, right? The Chiefs, they just clapped up the 49ers, who have one of the best defenses in the entire league. We need. What are the signature wins for the Eagles? They haven't done it yet. And maybe I'm not saying they can't, but we can only go off track record. And I think once the schedule starts to get a little tougher down the stretch, that's what we'll know.
But we won't know this season because look at this. So they have the Texans, followed by the Commanders, then the Colts, then the Packers.
They got to see the Cowboys.
Then it gets right. Then they have the Titans. Okay, they have the Giants. Then they got the Bears.
Those are, the Giants and the Titans are not going to be easy games.
That's what I'm saying. But so far, out of all the games I mentioned, those are the only hard games. Then they have the Saints, which is tough, and then they have the Giants again.
And then the Cowboys.
They're already 7-0. They have the Bears left. They have Packers, Colts, Commanders, and Texans. That's another 5-6 wins right there.
They see the Cowboys again one more time because they
One more time, the last
Yeah.
game of the season. No, actually December 20th, Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. That's right. I
Mhm.
remember that. Okay,
And
so they
then they
got to.
have the Saints and Eagles. Yeah,
They haven't played the Giants yet, so they get the Giants twice. You know, those are
twice.
division games. Those always are all battle tested. Also, the Giants are pretty good,
Pretty
especially
good. Yeah.
So okay, I mean, we'll see, but if we got to wait till January to see if this is real or not, they're going to have a
Mhm.
first round bye. It looks like,
Oh, of
unless
course.
something catastrophic happens, and then. But for a team who's never been there, we know you want the first round bye because it's a win. We know how that's worked out for the Packers in years past when you sit at home for
I don't like that first round bye.
that first
Only
round
if you
bye is
have a
very tricky.
significant injury.
Right.
Like
Right.
if your quarterback got some broken ribs, you need that 2 week of
To
sleep.
recover. Right.
But
Right.
okay, so obviously the Philly is the best team so far. If you're not picking Philly, who else do you think in the NFC can actually contend?
In the NFC,
I would have to say Cowboys, correct?
the Cowboys they're getting healthy. I mean, their offense is starting to really look like it did last year, especially last game. They
Mhm.
smacked. Who they smack like that? The Bears. They put
Yeah.
49 on the Bears.
Pollard is gonna take Zeke's job.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, he has to because Zeke also makes too much money. They got to move on. If not the Eagles, I'm looking at the thing right now. The Vikings, your Vikings, one loss. They maybe can make some noise. I think Seattle. I mean, listen, the way Gino's playing ball, I'm so happy for that brother, bro. I get so happy when I turn the TV on Sundays and I see him flourishing like that, man. That man's
But the
career,
thing
like
with
we
the
thought
Vi-
Gino couldn't play anymore, or people thought Gino
No,
couldn't play anymore.
I always knew because I knew, like you tweeted, he has the arm talent. The
But
thing with the Seahawks,
8 years later, you thought it still was there?
dude,
Not the
Rich
arm talent,
Gannon.
but the chance to get the
Look at
opportunity to actually.
Rich Gannon. Rich Gannon, who was a former MVP, he sat for years.
Yeah.
Trent Green sat for years.
Yeah.
When your number is called, like if you still have that type of arm talent and you're kind of mobile, he's only 31 years old. It always takes again that one coach to give you opportunity. But the thing with Seattle and the Vikings, if they can run up their record and get home field, those two teams are different at home, especially Seattle.
Seattle's home advantage is still the best in
That
the
home
league.
advantage is crazy, But I mean, the Eagles might just be too far ahead for them to catch up. But if not the Eagles, I would definitely say the Dallas Cowboys, just because that defense is real. And Paul's been raving about
I'm about
Micah
to say he
Parsons,
gonna
and
get you when you hear this.
he a problem, man. Michael Parsons is a problem, man.
Yeah,
I
young
watched this
Micah.
dude
Shout outs to Micahs, all the
bro.
Micahs.
This dude ran down some dude on the Bears, picked up the ball, had the wherewithal to know that he wasn't touched, and ran it back like 40 yards.
Yeah, wasn't it like 90? It was like 90 something from what I heard, bro.
No. It was like kind of like near midfield. But
I didn't
he
see
knew
the play,
that,
but I heard
dude.
about
He
it.
was around like 10 players. He knew he was in touch. He got up, took that joint back like 40 yards, man. He's a problem. Only thing with them, like we've been saying, is can their second wide receiver stand up? Because CD's not a number one.
I'm about to say second. They need one to step up. They need number one to play like a one, because that brother, I don't know what's up there. I really like them coming out of Oklahoma.
I'm thinking the game plan is stack the box and let CD and Dak beat you.
Yeah. They're gonna have to make plays. Not Anthony Brown. Forgot his name. Number 85. I actually like him a lot. He reminds me of Brandon Lloyd. He's very athletic. They're wide receiver. He makes some plays. He's actually made a lot of plays that, people who didn't recognize him or familiar with him were kind of surprised by. But again, CD is going to have to be a true one if they're going to do anything in the playoffs. Because the running game without, Pollard being consistent with Zeke, it hasn't been their strongest point. It's been play action and things like that. So we'll see. All right. Kawhi Leonard, man, he played like the opening game of the Clippers season, came off the bench, and he hasn't played since, I don't think. I may be wrong. Maybe if he maybe played another game, but I don't think he's played since, because all the reports are they're load managing the knee. They're trying to have it come along. He's about to miss like his 5th or 6th game or something like that.
Yeah.
And reports are coming out that Kawhi is not happy with the progress of his knee and how it's being handled. This is like very weird because he's another different cat. Like we don't really know what he's thinking. We don't know how things are going. But would you be surprised if Kawhi didn't play another game of basketball at least this season?
No, I wouldn't be surprised. It might be heading in that direction. It might be heading in that direction. I've been screaming this on Twitter for like at least minimum 5 years, right? Believe it or not, and I work in this profession, there are more bad trainers than good trainers at the professional level.
It's about physical trainers.
Some physical, they're athletic trainers, personal trainers, whatever, Somebody actually made a very good point today in it, which I didn't even think about, right? He said, yo, you didn't notice that like Kawhi Leonard, he looks bigger?
Yeah, he absolutely looks bigger.
But here's the issue with that, and I've said this with Odell Beckham.
He's got bad knees. Why is he getting bigger?
It's not that. It's like sometimes these trainers think it's all about strength, and then they forget to make sure that the athlete is able to move in their new bodies. Right? So all that muscle and all that strength that you're adding to Kawhi Leonard, can he move in that body? Because there's no reason why it's been 15 months since his last injury. He missed the whole last year.
Yeah.
Right? And dudes come back from ACLs all the time. They just miss a year. Like Jamal Murray's back. So why is Kawhi Leonard still hurt? I think it has to do something with the training, and they're not being honest with us. But, going back to your questions, man, like if he doesn't come back this season, it might be over, man.
That's what I'm thinking. Because one thing we do know about Kawhi is he'll shut it down. If he don't feel right, he ain't gonna play. That brother, he ain't one of those guys to be like, yeah, I'm gonna thug it out. Nope, that brother, like, listen, if it's not right, just like he told San Antonio, a team he had won a chip with, and a team that we felt like was one of the best organizations in basketball in terms of coaching and steadiness and how they took care of him. That's kind of how he got out of there. They were like, yo, Kawhi, we feel like you're good. And Kawhi's like, well, I don't feel like I'm good, so I'm going to sit. Y'all could trade me if y'all got a problem with it. Ends up not working out. They trade him. And then now with this LA situation, like you said, this guy hasn't played in 2 years. I don't understand, like, what more management does he need? And I understood it at first. They're like, all right, he's not going to play the next game or second night of a back-to-back, whatever.
Yeah.
But then it's like, bro, you haven't played in 4 games, which is like about a stretch of a week and a half. What are you actually looking to happen here between that time?
You didn't play preseason.
No preseason games.
So which leads me to believe that, I don't know if he re-injured it, or he could have had some tremendous amount of swelling after that first game and was like, yo, something's not right. Again, it's cool to add muscle. Can the player move with all the muscle that you're adding?
Especially on bad knees, man.
But it's an easy concept to grasp. And it's just like, you see it happen time and time again. Like, look at like Porzingis. That's what messed him up. He came back. I remember one summer, there was like he added 15 pounds of muscle. And I read that. I was like, oh. And then his leg never
dude at that, right?
Like, look at Kevin Durant. For the amount of leg injuries he's had, he ever come back brolic?
Nah.
Right? That man has the right people in his corner.
KD actually looks slimmer, and especially in the face. Like his face looks like it's slimmer than it's ever looked before. So I think KD he knows what works for him, and his trainers know him well. They know what works for him. I hope we see Kawhi again. Even though I hate the Clippers, I do like Kawhi. I don't want to ever see anybody have injuries cost them basketball career, especially a great player like him. But I would not be surprised if this was a wrap for Kawhi this year or his career.
Well, or even if he can come back after the All-Star game, that would be a benefit, because like these injuries, especially the last 3 seasons, robbed us of like great basketball, right? Like, if you think about it, the Clippers were in the Western Conference Final and Kawhi got hurt, and they went 6 games with the Suns.
Yeah.
They went 6 with the Suns.
Yeah.
He might have took them to the promised land.
Oh, I think they would have won. I think they would have won.
They would have probably won that, you know. Then it would have been Kawhi versus Greek, and that robbed us, Same thing with AD against the Suns. Like, it's just all these injuries, everything is adding up, and it sucks. But the league don't seem to mind because they have so much talent around the league, right? So what are you gonna do?
People don't even notice
Nah, they don't.
Not even like on some disrespect, like because I didn't realize he hadn't been playing until some random tweet came up. I was like, oh
first,
shit, he still ain't been playing. Like, so people haven't noticed because every night it's either Ja or it's KD or whatever's going on around the league. People are talking about it. So the league's definitely, not been on a downside of that. All right, to close our show, we want to do this. We're not going to leave out our little rap duo competition. I feel like this one's going to be very easy, though. I think you're going to pick this one easy. The first two have been hard. So far, you've said Jay-Z and Beanie are waxing Game and 50. Last week, we kind of settled on, even though it was hard last week, we settled on Drake and Weezy taking down Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole. This week, I got Cameron and Joel Santana as a duo.
Okay.
And for me, I think this is fairly easy. Maybe different for you, considering where you live. You live in Harlem now. You might be Harlem biased. I got Jadakiss and Styles P. Which duo is taking the cake? Easy, right? That's what I told you.
Yeah. Nah, Jada and Styles, man. Come on.
Jada and Styles, we're not gonna waste no time.
Jada and Styles, man. Nah, we're not gonna waste no time in that, man.
And Jewels did make good music together. They gave us one of the best songs ever. Hip hop. I mean, Hey Ma is one of the best hip hop songs I've ever heard.
Oh, they have tons of songs.
Oh boy,
they had Oh Boy.
Anthem.
We built this city. Dipset anthem. But listen, after that verses, I never want to hear Cameron and Jada in the same. After that versus performance, don't ever put Dipset against the Locks, man. I'm not even gonna entertain this one, man.
I just did that. That wasn't even intentional. I just was putting up, different rappers' names and people they've rapped with. And this one is a little.
Yo, would you say that was the best verses?
Oh,
would you say that was the best verses?
Easily, not close.
Yeah,
it's not even close.
Easily, right?
It's not even
that Gucci Man and Young Jeezy was pretty good too.
Yeah, I've never been so nervous in my entire life, bro. I'm like somebody about to die on live on Instagram Live.
I remember that.
Gucci was trying to take it there, bro. He was he started out cool, and then once he realized, like, yo, I really don't like this guy, he started getting ignorant. And I was like, yo, this brother. Bro. And then he started talking about dead folk. Come on. But
go get your dead homie.
He said go get yo, Gucci different. Gucci different. Yeah, I think that one's for me, it was no-brainer. Styles P and Jadakiss. They have like phenomenal. They've been literally rapping together their entire lives, from Yonkers, up to the mainstream with Bad Boy and Junior Mafia and those guys, and still now, like, they're going strong. So, I think that one's a pretty much no-brainer. What are you looking forward to this week in the NFL? As we sign off, what do you? I mean, there are some pretty interesting matchups, and I'll pull them up now. You can tell me which one you're most looking forward to. This week we have. Not anymore. I was going to say that one. The Jets and the Bills. You looking to see your guys bounce back? Zach Wilson, who you think, I know you don't think is very good. The Bucks.
I was actually going to say that I wanted to see how both New York teams respond, but I know the Giants have a bye week, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I want to see, the Jets bounce back. Like I've been saying, that's a game against the Patriots that they should have won. But it's like these little costly mistakes. But Zach Wilson ain't it, man. So I just want to see the young guy bounce back, and this is going to be one of the hardest teams.
I'm about to say, he got to bounce back against the Bills.
I think a good bounce back is like competitive. Yeah, it could get ugly early too, man.
The Bills are literally, they had the Packers down like 17-0 and like before they blinked. Like
first quarter, bro. Yeah.
That's the thing about that team.
So I want to see the young player, man.
They're on a mission from how they lost last year to the Chiefs. They're on a mission to not just win, but to like violate. Like you see how Diggs comes out the locker room yapping at opposing cornerbacks. Like they want to send a message that we're not having it this year. We're not playing no games. They're in a shotgun all day. They're going to throw the ball, whether they're up 21 or whether they're up 3. They're going to throw that ball down your throat, and there's really nothing you could do to stop it because they have really great weapons on offense. So I want to see.
Are you shocked that they didn't really add a better running back?
They added some. Who did they add? They added someone.
I forgot, man. It wasn't like Why not get Kareem Hunt, bro? Like, the man is sitting
They
there.
added Naeem Himes. I think Naeem Himes actually fits them because he's a versatile. He's like a receiving back, and they're a throwing team. I mean, they're a throwing team. So I think, I mean, Kareem Hunt is ideal, right? But I think
Yeah.
Cleveland was asking for too much, and they weren't gonna, give up too much when they think they
I
have
don't think
enough.
so because at the end of the day, he's a free agent at the end of the year. Like he's not definitely going back to that team. So like,
Yeah,
negotiate better.
maybe they didn't like him. Maybe he has
You know.
character flaws. Maybe that factored. I don't know. But I
All right.
think
One
Naeem's a
question for
great
you, real
fit.
quick.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, we'll see. So I mean, I saw a tweet saying that I think it was the Chiefs, Packers, Bills, and another teams, the Rams, all reaching out to Odell this past week. What do you think is the best fit for Odell? And don't say the Giants,
I was
because
about to say. I was gonna.
I'll turn this shit right off right now, bro. Like, don't say the Giants. I'm being for real now. I don't got a QB for him. You used to kill Eli for not feeding this man. Daniel Jones will not get that man the rock, bro.
He's gonna be a giant, whether it's now or in a year or two. He's gonna be a giant again. I'm telling you that. That's what I know, and I know what I know. You said the Chiefs, Packers. No, Packers. You can cancel him out. No, he's not going to the Packers. I don't want him to go to the Packers.
Why not?
Offense is not good, and I don't think it's one receiver away.
Listen, they're 3-5, right? I mean, they're not totally out of it, and they are kind of one receiver away because, like we saw Odell do last year, Odell gets on that team. His job is going to make everyone else's job, even if he's a decoy.
Is it a possibility that Aaron Rodgers is not as good anymore? Is that a possibility?
You know what? I mean, when I watch him, he's still hitting dimes.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, listen, man. As much as people want to walk around and great QBs don't really need great wide receivers. Really, this is a passing league, my man. You do need great wide receivers. You do.
Yeah.
Like, this point of like trying to downplay wide receivers, like they're not needed, is crazy to me. Like, you need great wide receivers, man.
I like the Bills a lot, but I think they look stacked. Like at receiver, like Gabe Davis is a legit number 2.
He stepped up.
He's a legit number 2. I'm worried about targets there. The
I say
Rams
running back with the Rams.
He could. I don't know.
Running back with the Rams, man. He lives in Cali. Bro. He knows the offense already. Allen could slide right into the third. Opens the offense up. They need the help, man. So whatever they're asking, they need to pay that man.
I just don't want the Packers. I'm all set. I don't believe in the Packers. I think the Rams are more likely to turn their season around than the Packers. I think the Rams, you get, like you said, with the continuity, Cooper Kupp, Odell, Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee, those guys. I think they can turn it around more so than the Packers. I just think there's a problem. There's something wrong in Green Bay. It's not just a receiver. There's just something ain't gelling. Guys seem to be. I mean, the guy's calling out his teammates on a freaking show, like on a podcast. What are you doing, Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. We'll see. That is interesting though, because I didn't see those reports this week. I do know that that's been a thing, but I didn't see it this week. I think a team that makes a ton of sense that people aren't talking about are the Cowboys. The Cowboys make a ton of sense.
I think Cowboys is one of the teams as well.
It
was like a holistic team that they reached out.
I would not be mad at all. As much as I hate the Cowboys, Odell goes on there. I'm gonna want them to do well because of my guy Odell. So I think the Cowboys will make a ton of sense. Any last things you want to say before we jump out of here, Black Family?
Nah, that's pretty much it, man.
All right, guys, make sure you guys are tapping in on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. In the words of the great Stuart Scott, holla at a player when you see him in the street. Peace.